Hi, everyone. My name is Sebastian Valadez, and I'm happy that you'll be joining us. I am a third year transfer majoring in food science and technology, and I have had positions through school, so I do have some insight into our workshop, which is basically we'd be going over employment options that could be available to future Broncos who are looking to get more involved in CPP. So be going over how to be able to access employment through CPP and what steps should be taken if you are awarded work study. This way, when you become a future Bronco, you can find balance in school and work so that you can maintain both in a healthy setting. So, how many of you are interested in school employment? Because it is a very good way of like getting your foot in the door when it comes to work. So you can either raise your hand or tell us in the chat box. Due to the pandemic, much of our employment has been reduced, and some of us are working virtually. But in the upcoming semester, the campus may start opening more and more positions as the school gets more information from the state and like how to open up safely and what exactly that may look like. We're not entirely sure. But before the pandemic, I was able to get work as a sustainability advisor for the University Village, which is an off campus housing complex that the school offers. Additionally, I became part of the Project Caminos team for my final year here at CPP. So, this is a great way to end a closing chapter on my graduating year. And I'm here to help any way that I can as part of a Project Caminos student assistant. One things to know once you get admitted is when will the employment become available. So if when we go over like the eligibilities and the job descriptions, one of the things that needs to be that you need to be aware of is when that position may be available. Because when what ends up happening is that you'll see certain departments offer positions early into the summer, but some positions in certain departments, depending on where you work, don't start until the semester begins. So you'll either have some jobs offering you like 3 to 4 weeks before the semester begins, and then you'll have some positions in departments as soon as the semester begins. So as soon as you start to do your classes. One thing to also note as an admitted Bronco, you get access to your Bronco ID, which gives you access to the career counseling and the virtual drop-in advising, which are great resources and tools to either help you with your interview skills or building up your resume. Those things are great because you'll have a greater insight on what it means to try to tailor your resume to a position that you want on campus. Additionally, we have Handshake that you get access to, which is a great resource that I'll be going over in terms of off campus and on campus jobs. Another thing that you'll get access to is LinkedIn Learning offered by the school. And that actually is a great resource in ways to develop some career skills, such as like understanding how to present, understanding how to get through interviews, and building certain types of skills that you could present to employers. So the next thing we'll be going is what it would mean to be a Bronco at work. So working on campus or off campus virtually, that means you get to be able to still be around a student environment, still be understanding of being a student first and an employee second. And I'll be going over what that means in the next presentation, next slide. And also the understanding flexibility. So everything is tailored around your schedule. So the hours that you set, the way that you set your hours during a week so that your employer knows that you're prioritizing your school and your classes. And everything else is all just balance. It's just trying to maintain a workflow for yourself that is able to be you focusing on your classes, but also trying to get some work experience, get some training, getting some supplemental income to help you get through your school. Some skills gained working on campus, and these are some essential transferable skills that you'll be having to continually use in future employment, in future careers that you choose to have, is interpersonal skills. A lot of times working in these departments on campus, you do develop some team skills, you develop some ability to communicate with others. You'll have to communicate with supervisors, you have to communicate with peers, and because you're around students or working with students or for students, you have to have the ability to communicate to them. And that is transferable to any career that you'll have because you will be communicating a lot within a group setting. Another thing is public speaking, being able to present yourself in public, being able to present yourself in an interview in a way that can like train you to be more comfortable speaking in front of other people. Another thing is critical thinking, is how often like you get trained into trying to be able to have ideas, have output for certain things when you are working for certain employees. Another thing is problem solving, how think to present solutions to certain problems that you may be like having to overcome through your work, and being able to be like, oh well, now I know how to work on this, I know how this functions. And an essential thing throughout this whole entire thing is programming skills, being able to work through Microsoft applications. Much of my job working as a sustainability advisor is managing a budget and managing a timesheet. And those were Excel skills. You get to see a lot of job descriptions ask for Microsoft applications, and some of them are entry skills, just so that you understand how data entry works. So, working with Microsoft Word, working with Microsoft Excel. Another thing is you may be working in a lot of presentations, so working through using Canva or using PowerPoint. And because we're in a virtual setting, another thing to note is how to work through webinars. So you may be instructed to work through Teams, or you may be instructed to work through Zoom. So again, these are fundamental skills that you'll be able to carry on into your future work, that you'll be able to have access to, and skills that you will gain when you work on campus, because it is something that is heavily introduced as you work. Next thing, we'll be going over the pros and cons of what it means to be working. So academics comes first. You'll be seen as a student first and an employee second by your employers. This means that everything will be tailored around your schedule. You can let them know that midterms are coming up, finals are coming up, so you may need reduced hours during that 1 week. And they'll be very understanding of trying to give you that leeway, give you those hours for you to focus on your school. Another thing is resume building. You'll get a lot of training experience. I know working as a sustainability advisor, I got a lot of training experience working through disability, working through being LGBTQ. Like, these are certificates that they offer you to be a better ally. And I also got training into learning CPR and learning how to use a fire extinguisher. Some of these training experiences that you can be able to put on your resume, and then as work experience. Another thing is limited hours. Again, working as a student, you only get 20 hours a week. But again, those hours can differ from week to week. So it's based upon your schedule and based upon your needs. Some days you need less hours, some days you need more hours. Another thing working on campus is that you get a larger network. You get access to more resources on campus. You get access to different departments that you wouldn't be able to have if you were a non-employed student. Another thing is time management. So again, going back to flexibility, working around your schedule, working around trying to manage your time. Some cons would be that it's temporary. So these jobs are only last as long as the semester, or no, as long as your year enrolled into the school, and then they have to ask you either to reapply. So that is something to be aware of, is that these positions are only held for as long as you are enrolled in school. Another thing is that some things may be unrelated to your field of work. So you'll be working in certain departments that aren't exactly what you're majoring in. And that's just one of the small caveats on working on campus. Next thing we'll be going over is uh, where to get employment. So one of the uh, places that you can be able to work through is ASI, and ASI is Associate Student Incorporation, which is more student geared. And so through this, you'll be able to work through the BRIC, which is the Bronco Recreation Intramural Complex. That's basically the school's gym. You can either get a job through program development or through either like janitorial services working through the BRIC. Another thing is ASIB, which is their Bronco events and activities team, and much of that is event planning and trying to lift school spirits. You'll be able to work and create programs for students. Had we had access to being on campus, you would be very like accustomed to ASIB constantly putting up events. So if you're like a transfer, if you're a freshman, later in the years you'll start to see more and more of ASIB. Once we are able to, be on campus and have classes face to face. Another sector for which ASI overlooks is BSC. So BSC is the student center. This is basically also a dining complex, but they offer a lot of jobs within this. It's either financial services or the games room. You can get employed through those. The way to be able to access ASI is they have their own website, and this is where you can apply. Basically, once you click on that, there will be a little section where it says view current job openings for students. They go through ASI and ASI Campus Recreation. Campus Recreation is a lot of working through, recreational activities. So those two you can be able to get access to and see what job positions. We can, I think we can give the presentation. We'll try to, give the presentation after the meeting if you would like this presentation. So next, you can see here that Handshake and Foundation are also on that box, and we'll go over how to access those next. So here we have Cal Poly Pomona Foundation. This is its own employment department. So the things that Foundation covers is the center point, which is the dining commons, which is in the middle of the campus. It's located to the student center. The next thing is the Bronco bookstore. That is CPP merch and books. This is like their retail department. You can get employed through there. You can also get employed through the Brewworks, which is their off-campus brewery that they have. And the next thing is the farm store, which I highly recommend going to. They offer like they're great with the freshly squeezed orange juice that they have. They also offer like fresh honey, a lot of fresh produce. Right now, in season is strawberries, and the strawberries are so good. It's also an agriculture store, so you can buy a lot of plants there. A lot of gourmet, ingredients comes from the farm store, and they're really, really good, especially their homemade bread. So to get access to working here, another thing to note is what other positions are offered. So they don't also just offer dining services or working through the farm store or like the markets on campus. You could also work as a student creator. These are administrative positions. So you could work as student creators or student assistants. So student creators, you can work within a certain department that could be related to your field. So student creators are able to basically help assist a professor in grading a lot of their papers, whether this could be math, engineering, or English. Or you could be a student assistant, which is a lot of administrative work. So you could help a lot of departments in facilitating a lot of things that you could work around in certain departments if you were as a student assistant. So I'm currently a student assistant. I'm also working with Project Caminos. That would be how I describe a job. And it's a great one, and I really enjoy it. I really love my supervisors. So here's how to apply is through the foundation website. So you go through the foundation website, you go through employment opportunities, and then you can go through the current job openings. They will offer either something that could be on working through dining commons, working through dining services, working through the agriscapes, the farm store. So if I'm currently an executive secretary with the students, it's yeah, because I do think that the skills that you would have are transferable to being a student assistant. Next, we'll be going over Handshake, and this is open to all CPP students who have been admitted and who have access to their Bronco ID and their MyCPP. This one's a great resource because it connects you to jobs both on and off campus. So even like after you graduate, or even if you are looking outside of school, they do offer some like ways to apply for jobs off campus. So you get access to this once you are an admitted Bronco and once you have access to your Bronco ID and your MyCPP. And so you can see here the on-campus jobs. You could be working as a peer mentor, you could work as a remote instructional technology assistant, or you could work as other departments as being a student assistant on campus. Handshake is a great tool, and I highly recommend you checking it out as soon as you can. And so before I close off this presentation, I want to dedicate these next coming slides to work study. So if you filled out FAFSA, you know that one of the things that they offered was the ability to, if you wanted to be interested in work study. So work study, it's random. You get randomly selected to be working in work study. But you will get notified. So always check your emails to see if you were selected to have work study. Connect with financial aid to see if you are eligible, and then check your emails. Check your MyCPP and check your Bronco Direct. It's very important because when you're reviewing your financial aid, work study goes through your financial aid. And so reviewing that, and then you have to accept the federal work study. Some things to note about work study is that if you were offered and you were awarded, that work study is only applied as soon as you get hired. It isn't when you accept the award. It isn't as soon as you apply. It is as soon as you get hired. So once you get hired, you'll go through an HR process, and they'll soon be able to give you access to your work study as soon as you work for those hours. Again, work study means that you get paid paid for your work, basically, and they'll give you that award. The next thing to note is applying for work study positions. So you will get emailed for opportunities through certain departments that they're offering some work study eligible positions on campus, but also go through Handshake, go through Foundation, and go through the ASI websites, because in the job descriptions, they'll say that either they only do work study only, or it's work study eligible. So right here, as you can see, they put preferred. It is federal work study eligible. So that is something to note. I highly like, if they see that, they often tend to hire those who are work study eligible. So to recap this whole entire thing, basically stay connected. Stay connected to your email, because that's where they'll notify you of everything that's being offered through campus, being jobs, certain departments that are looking through students who want to be working for them. Always have access to your career center, because again, they offer a lot of resources for you to build your resume, go through, certain skills that you could develop, like interview skills, career skills that they can help you so that you could be able to land a job or be able to feel better and more comfortable going through an interview process. Look through ASI, look through Foundation, and look through Handshake, because in all three sectors, they will have jobs available. And as soon as we are able to hear from the state and figure out what they are planning to do, you'll start to see more and more positions open up. And again, going back to this, uh, more positions open up every year because, uh, every year has a graduating class. And so every year there will be positions that will be open up in certain departments. So that's basically the grand scheme, is to be staying connected, because you'll get notified of any opportunity of working on campus, either through any of these like available web resources or through the career center. They'll let you know. And that's one of the good things about this, is being a Bronco, you get access to all of these resources. You get access to being working on campus. You get access to finding jobs off campus. So always stay connected, and always be mindful of the resources that CPP has offered, especially in terms of the Career Center, because they work really hard to make sure that you're able to be employed. And so that'll be it for the presentation, but I'll be gladly to stick around if you have any questions, if you have anything that you want to ask in terms of the presentation. Feel free to put it in the chat box or unmute your mic. We'll be here to answer your questions.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We put in the chat as well the link for you to take the survey. This is a quick 2-minute survey that can also enter you into an opportunity to win a $50 Amazon gift card. And so if you've joined our workshops before, you can do one for every single workshop and increase your chances for that. But we really do hope that you've enjoyed this workshop, learning about working at Cal Poly Pomona. We know some of you have been admitted, and some of you are prospective students. And this is really a wonderful opportunity for you all to get some work experience and really get those transferable skills. And so I can't emphasize enough, what Sebastian shared with you. He's our student. And so here he is delivering this presentation for future Broncos. And we couldn't be happier to see this information being shared out with you.
Thank you.
We're seeing some thank yous in the chat. So thank you so much, Sebastian. Please take a look at those. We're going to go ahead and stay on for the next remaining 4 or 5 minutes. If you have any questions, or you wanted to ask Sebastian about his experience interviewing on campus, or learn a little bit more about his positions. But if not, we thank you so much for joining us today, and we wish you well, and hopefully you're able to join us at a future workshop that we are going to be offering.
Hi, I might have missed this, but if you're an admitted student and you're eligible for work study, can you apply for any summer ones that are work study like required, or do you have to wait until the fall semester to apply for those?
Yeah. Go ahead, Sebastian.
Okay, I was just gonna say that I think you, depending on the department, if it says that they're looking for a summer job, basically, and you are federal work study eligible, I think that you're able to apply for those.
Yeah, so to add to that, we do have some positions that you'll begin to see open. And we consider academic year beginning July 1st. And so if you've gone through orientation, some of them will allow for you to apply for those jobs as early as July 1st. But the majority of student employment will begin like sometime in August. And so you'll be able to see any employment that begins for the fall. And that's when most departments begin to hire admitted students that are starting in the fall with us. But you'll see the postings come available like as early as July 1st.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And then Jenny, we see your question of how will you be able to see the presentation. You're gonna receive an email from our office, from Caminos, and we will go ahead and include either the presentation or a recording of it. And that should be coming your way probably within about 48 hours.
Sorry, me again. If we've accepted the work study, is there anything else we need to do when we're applying, or is it automatically just kind of like register that we're eligible when we apply?
Yeah, typically, once you accept that, right now, most of our admitted students are only seeing an estimated award packet. And so once you get an official award packet, you will see that work study there. And then you'll be able to begin to apply for positions for that. I also recommend that you take advantage of the Career Center. They're going to be, you'll be able to reach out for their services to get help with like reviewing a resume or a cover letter, just so that when you begin to apply for those positions, you already have something ready to go.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining us again today. And then we wish you well, and hopefully we see you at an upcoming workshop.